At just over 30,000 tonnes and carrying a maximum of 690 passengers, Azamara Quest is wonderfully mid-sized and, like the rest of the Azamara fleet, is styled as a boutique hotel at sea. She was built in 2000 for Renaissance Cruises as one of their R-class ships, imaginatively named R7, but like many of her sisters ended up laid up before being sold off to different cruise lines after Renaissance Cruises went into bankruptcy in 2001. She eventually entered service for the newly created Azamara Cruises in 2007, along with the former R8, which became known as Azamara Journey, and she was last refurbished in 2019. In 2016, Azamara Quest and Journey were joined by another former R-class ship, which is now known as Azamara Pursuit, and from 2022, the fleet will welcome a fourth former R-class ship as Azamara Onboard. Join us for a ship tour of Azamara Quest as we take you around all the public areas on board.
Hi, it's Amy from Cruise Select. I'm currently on board Azamara Quest. We're in Mykonos today. It's our last port of call before returning to Piraeus. We've had a wonderful 5-night cruise before they a bit of a test cruise to get the crew back up to speed, etc. So it's been a real honour and privilege to be on board this cruise. It's just amazing being back at sea. After all this time away, it's completely blown away by how much I've missed it. So yes, it's our last night tonight. So it's a little bit later than ever. But we're going to take you on a ship tour on the gorgeous Azamara Quest. As you can see, obviously in this day and age of COVID, I'm having to wear a face mask in the public areas on board. You know what? As long as I'm back on board, as long as I'm back cruising, I don't care. So we're going to start with deck 4 because there's a few sort of public areas there, but you'll find really that decks 5, 9 and 10 are really the sort of social hubs of the ship, but you'll see that as we go on. Okay, so like I said, we're starting with deck 4 because deck 3 is really just where you board, particularly for ports of call, etc. So there's the tender station, etc. And staterooms start from deck 4 onwards. So we're in midship now. There'd be the concierge there. There's guest relations, and we have this lovely staircase, which is pretty much at the heart of the ship. I mean, it's just stunning. I'm going to start going up now. Oh, also the medical facilities are on deck 4. Luckily, I haven't had need of them. So you see how beautiful it is. It's almost doesn't really feel like you're on a cruise ship. And you have these, I don't know, I just think Azamara ships are just beautiful. I was last on Quest in, I think, 2017, but you'll find that Azamara Journey and Azamara Pursuit, and from next year onwards, Azamara onwards, they're very similar. So you can go one and you can sort of feel like you've been on them all, so you get that sort of comfortable feeling of familiarity on a Azamara ship. So as I say, we're midship at the moment. Now we're on deck 5. There's some areas that you can sit. So it's quite, here it's like warm traditional colours, but you've also got a little bit of contemporary twist. So I think there's that sort of mixture you'll find on Azamara in terms of their aesthetics. I mean, that's just beautiful. So yes, there's some shops here, of course. As I said, we're in Mykonos at the moment, so we're in port, therefore the shops are closed. That's the Mosaic Cafe. So there's actually not a casino on board Quest or Pursuit. currently there is on Journey, but that's going to be removed because Azamara specialise in destinations and spending more time at port. So actually having an onboard casino doesn't really work for them because you spend more time ashore. Okay, we're still on deck 5. We're now towards the aft because all the restaurants can be found at the aft of the ship, and the entertainment venues at the fore. So the Discovery's restaurant bar is the main restaurant. So you'll have a la carte dinner, breakfast, lunch, etc. There is like a lovely bar area, so you can have like a pre-dinner drink. I mean, it really does feel like a lovely old country hotel. So it looks like a traditional cruise main restaurant, but it's all open seating, which is nice. So you don't have the traditions of first or second seating on Azamara. It's dine when you like. It's because it's they do have a very relaxed ambience on board. So very much like a boutique hotel at sea. Because of COVID, you'll often find with I don't think it's actually set out at the moment because obviously it's not during service, but you'll find that tables in the restaurants and even like seating in the bars, there will be there'll be, say, so for example, look at here, this might be sort of available, and then the next row all along it would be, they'd have a table, you know, not in use sort of thing, so it's every other to allow for social distancing, so that there's enough space for people to sit down and take their masks off. So here on deck 5, this area is called the den. As you can see, there's various uses for it. There's a shore excursions desk, there's Photoshop, Cruise Again and Loyalty, and Spirits, which is the bar. There's a wonderful pianist who plays here. I love these fireplaces they have throughout the ship. You might have noticed in the bar area outside Discovery's there's one. Like I say, it just gives a nice homely touch. So this is the Spirits bar. They're actually about to be doing a quiz, I believe. So I think in the afternoons they seem to do a couple of quizzes. So like I say, there's short excursions and the cruise again desk. And then the rest of deck 5 is obviously the cabaret lounge, which is where you have the big showpiece shows, etc. So we're now in the forward of the ship. As I say, all the entertainment venues are at forward. They're doing rehearsals there. I'm now on deck 9 forward. Having seen deck 5, we've gone straight up to deck 9 because, as you can see, decks 6 to 8 are just purely staterooms. So on here, obviously, you've got the pool deck, but you've also got so on the aft side of things, as I said, all the restaurants are aft. So you've got the patio, which is sort of the alfresco dining on the pool deck, where you have burgers, that sort of stuff. And then there's Windows Cafe, which is the casual buffet restaurant on board. They do dinner, and they tend to have theme nights, so I think tonight's a French night. And then through Windows Cafe, you then have the sunset veranda, where you could also, there's some tables that you could eat outside from the Windows Cafe and have a drink, admire the view. Also on this deck, yet to be explored so far by us, is the Sanctum, so that's the spa, sauna, etc. You've also got the fitness centre, and also the spa suites are on this deck, because obviously they need to be adjacent to the spa. So we're going to take a look now and have a little look at deck 9, and then we'll head up to deck 10, etc. So since I'm here forward, I'm going to head towards the Sanctum. As you can see, it's a busy day in the gym. In the fitness centre. Okay, I do not have a Thalassophobia deck pass, so apparently I can't go past there, but there's obviously a private area for people to relax. Here's some of the treatment rooms. Obviously a range of treatments are available, various massages, facials, etc. Salon. Again, that's the private deck. And here, of course, we're on the pool deck. A lot of people are still on port, so it's a bit quieter. There's the pool bar. Also, on a sea day, it's a very popular place to be. The white night party is often focused around the pool area, although they have now amended the white night party so that they sort of disperse it between 3 different venues, one of which is of course the pool deck. But the idea is that you can now experience 3 different performances so I think it was the Reactions, which are like the house band. They were in the cabaret lounge. There was the pianist in her usual hub of the den, and then there was like I think it was a DJ Justin or something on the pool deck, and that was very popular. And now, as I say, so now we're entering the aft area. We've got, this is the patio, like I said, you'd often get, say, for lunch would be burgers, etc. And then there's Windows Cafe through there. And now we're in Windows Cafe. prizes for guessing why it's called Windows. Obviously it's out of hours, so the bus station's closed up. So then we go through to Sunset Bar. And this is actually where we had breakfast this morning, and it was just stunning. I mean, it was blooming boiling, because I think it's just crazy hot at the moment. Yeah. Okay, now we've seen all of deck 9, so we're heading up to deck 10. This area, I mean, obviously there's not as much space on deck 10 because you've got the cut-out bit that looks onto full deck. You've got around here the jogging track. It's been a bit too hot for us to jog on the ship's jogging track, although the other day we did actually run in Crete, so that was slightly crazy of us. So it'd be a running day today, but I'm not feeling it, and I mean, yeah. So see, you've got the view of the pool deck. Now, as I say, we are currently at the aft because just come up from Windows Cafe, etc. Now, on deck 10 is where you would find the specialty dining. So it used to be two separate venues, Aquilina, the Italian, and Prime C, the steak. But because of COVID regulations, they until at least April next year, Azamara are only permitted up to 50% capacity. So what they've done is they've merged the two venues, and everything's in Prime C. So, but you can order, so you'd have the Aquilina menu on one side and Prime C on the other. Also, what you'll find in Prime C, so there's a lovely little bar area, and then there's like a long table and a sort of circular table, and that's where you'll have the chef's table experience, which we've enjoyed, and also very new. We literally got the first people to have it, the Explorers dinner. So they're both sort of tasting menus, so you have 6 or 7 courses of food, and very delicious. As I understand it, I think with Explorers dinner there'll be, so it was Italian themed last night, but there'll be Spanish, and I think there's another one, but I will have to check on what it is exactly, because I didn't quite catch it. But again, with the chef's table, they have Italian, California and French themed. So on my previous cruise of Azamara we had the Californian, and on Monday we had the French. And I always find that it's great fun. The sommelier is always very informative about the wine. It's beautifully paired with food, and it can be quite convivial sort of atmosphere, getting to know other guests. On Monday, there was a very international table we had. We were sat next to some Belgians, a couple of Hungarians, a couple of Dutch people. So yeah, it's very multinational, and yeah, great food and interesting company. Also on the aft side of deck 10 you have the drawing room, which is a bit like the ship's library. So it's a nice quiet place to relax for a book. Again, you have a lovely fireplace, and I always just love the ceiling in this room. as we head to deck 10 forward for the entertainment part, they do also have, I think, a ping pong table over there. So now we're heading into the living room, which is somewhere I spent a lot of time on this cruise. It's quite multifunctional in a way, because obviously right now it's a bit like a relaxing observation lounge. Obviously you've got your bar. But also at night, this is where, like I say, so the reactions, the house band will play here. And then you'll have DJ Justin playing some tunes and dancing. Of course, with COVID, you're supposed to still wear masks on the dance floor.
So, as I say, in the living room, probably one of the places I spend most on the ship. Obviously, it's a bit quieter at the moment. There's no dancing, no DJ, etc. But what I do have is a really comfortable chair. It's really comfy, and it goes all the way around. Although, yeah, probably not the best if it was sailing in slightly rough conditions. Although, to be fair, if we were sailing in rough conditions, I would probably be stuck in my cabin, head down the toilet, praying for the dramamen to work. Ironically, not the best at sailing. But yeah, I've got a stunning view of the sea around us. Sparkly wine, and I just feel so chilled throughout this whole cruise. I actually can't remember the last time it felt so relaxed and contented. And you know what, it actually probably was the last time I was on a ship. I just don't know if I can actually really truly articulate how wonderful it is to be cruising again. And you know, especially after like the last 18-19 months, to be back on board again, it just feels, everything feels heightened. You just want to savour every single moment and appreciate it. And it's, like I say, I'm not really sure I can actually quite articulate how wonderful it is to be back on board. And the crew have been just faultless and friendly, and you just, I don't know, it's like kind of palpable how happy everyone is to be back cruising again. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different. There's been, there's new measures. There's, mask wearing, testing, passenger locator forms, etc. But they're just inconsequential to the overall joy at being back on board. There's such small moments in amongst the whole general wonder and contentment and privilege of being back cruising again. And it's actually kind of surreal, really, how it feels like being back at home, and it hasn't really impacted the cruising experience, which is great. Cruising has managed to sort of transcend all the COVID measures. Maybe so much because on Azamara, for example, because it's a smaller capacity ship, they are allowed to, or the Greek authorities let us go ashore independently. So in port today in Mykonos, there's Silver Moon, us obviously, there's a Costa ship and an MSC ship. But because of the passenger capacities on Costa and MSC being exponentially larger than us and Silver Moon, even at 50%, their guests have to, if they go ashore, they have to go on an organised excursion so that it effectively creates a travelling bubble. Whereas we do have the greater freedom of actually going ashore independently and having a bit of a mooch around, which is lovely. But yeah, so just have a little bit of a chill out in our ship tour. Just feeling very zen at the moment. But don't worry, we shall continue. So also in the living room, at certain times you'll find food here. So for breakfast and lunch there's a grab and go service that you can pick up from here. And some days they do tapas and wine, other days they do sandwiches and pastries. So I mean, you know what, it really is true what they say, you can never go hungry on a cruise ship. I dread to think how much I've put on already. Okay, and now we've seen deck 10, obviously it's deck 11. It's actually the first time I've been on this deck. Because I do not do that well with the sun, to be honest. I'm more like get me in the shade or even the air conditioning actually. And it seems that a lot of people are perhaps trying to find some shade or a bit of coolness by the pool, perhaps, if they're not at port. So that was Azamara Quest, just a little bit of a quick whistle stop ship tour. I hope you agree with me that she is very beautiful. I don't know, I really am fond of the ship. Like I said, it's the second time I've been aboard. I've always enjoyed the service, the food. I think she's stunning. It is a very relaxed atmosphere, which is really quite enjoyable. And there's like slight differences in how Azamara do things that I think really set them apart quite nicely. For example, the White Night Party. They also, for example, last night, so we had a sea day yesterday on the way from Heraklion to Mykonos, and at some point in the day the captain announced that at 7 p.m. we would be cruising past Santorini, doing a little bit of a circle around, particularly for the sunset, etc. And he didn't have to do that, but obviously he had the time in which he could do it, so he sort of, I guess, did it as a bit of a surprise treat for everyone on board, which is, you know, it was beautiful. So yeah, because I think we noticed that we were sort of effectively cruising around in circles, so I think he just sort of did that to allow for the time to sort of so that was a really special treat, and I think that's one of the many advantages of a small ship cruise line such as Azamara, and they're very much about their destination. So just because they're sailing at sea doesn't mean to say that you can't still enjoy some of the destination. If you're cruising past a particularly famous and iconic island group, they'll make sure that they can make the most of it. And so yes. So if you do have any other questions about Azamara, Rachel and myself will be happy to answer them. But yes, very much enjoying being on board. Very sad to disembark, but it's just been such a blessing to be back on. It's been really quite emotional actually. But yes, so hope you've enjoyed it. And again, I'm Amy from Cruise Select.